Hello folks, David here, AF5DN, and I want to talk to you today about the TIDRADIO H9. That's right, an H9. And the H9 is the variant or the upgrade of the H8. Now H8 has been it's got a different antenna. H8 has been my primary Skywarn radio for a while. Basically due to the fact that it works very well and it is 10 watts. The H9, however, is slightly upgraded. It still does, UHF, VHF, all the normal stuff, but they've added APRS capability. And in the APRS capability, it also has a little GPS antenna right here in the top, where the other one had a LED, which I always found to be useless. I mean, if I don't want a light, I want a flashlight, not my radio. But the H9 works very well. Now, I've had it for about 3 weeks, just testing the APRS and its overall capabilities. It sends APRS data just fine. It receives APRS data just fine. And I'll show you here on APRS FI here in just a minute. And let me show you how you get into to see the packets. Okay, so you go memory, up to APRS, hit the menu button, then you go up twice to the beacon list. And if I had to say anything, I would say to get to the beacon list, it could be a little cleaner. But here's your beacon list, and then you can select it, and you can see what all is in there. There's shows 5 pages. It was a car. There's the path. There's the comments. There's if he was driving, that's how far he was driving, 652 feet elevation. There's his GPS information. So the radio works on APRS very well. Like I said, it is a little cumbersome to get into the menu where you can see the packets, but it does function. Now, obviously, there's some keystrokes to show your personal GPS data. However, I'm in the house, and you see that little GPS icon is white. If you have a GPS lock, it'll turn green, and then it'll start sending packets. It won't send packets automatically unless you got GPS lock. You can key it and manually send a package, but what's the purpose? It doesn't have your GPS data. Okay, so let me show you on the computer some of the issues that I had, not with the radio, but with APRS in general. Now there's I've had it on for 3 days, there's like 170 packets that it's received in there, and you can look through. So there's no problem with receiving packets, and there's no problem with other ham radio operators sending packets. The issue that I had, and I want to bring this up, is there's just not enough iGates. You can't get the information from your radio to the internet reliable because there's not enough iGates. So I'm going to hop over to the computer, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so here is the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and this was from yesterday, and my iGate is right here, and you can see that there were 2 tracks. One was going to work, one was coming back from work. But here's the problem. I was going not from here to downtown Fort Worth, but from here all the way down here to Alvarado. And guess what? There were no iGates anywhere along here. So even though I was sending out packets and I was hearing packets from other radios, none of those packets got to the internet. Now you can kind of see here, I went right straight up I-35. I don't know what the deal is here with this brake. But like I said, one was going to work, one was coming from work. So the radio itself works fine. The problem is there's just not enough stinking iGates out there. The ham radio guys have got to do better. Okay, so as far as the TIDRADIO H9 goes, it works perfectly fine. It works good as a UHF, VHF radio. It works good on APRS. The menuing is not as easy as some of them, but for the price point compared to a Kenwood or an Anytone, the TIDRADIO, if you want to get into APRS, is a good radio to start with. It's relatively inexpensive, relatively, and it works. That's the bottom line, and that's what you want to know. Does it work? Yes, it works. So if you want to purchase one of these, you have to get them directly from the TIDRADIO website. I will put a link to that in the description. If you purchase anything from the TIDRADIO website, make sure you use the code AF5DN and you'll get a discount. I'm not sure. It varies from day to day, so you will get something off by purchasing it directly from TIDRADIO. Okay, so now I'm going to show you something else. I was looking to find a way to make it easier for ham radio guys to set up their own iGate. Now this setup I got right here is not the cheapest thing in the world. I've got a little cube PC, there's a digi-rig, there's a radio. It took a little finagling to get everything working. It does work. It's got that ridiculous antenna on it just because I didn't have anything else I wanted to put it on. So so the next thing, I looked all over the place and I found an APRS iGate combo thingy that another ham radio YouTuber showed, but it was like 300 bucks or 400 bucks, maybe $3.99. I'm not going to pay that for just an iGate. That's ridiculous, in my opinion. So I did some digging around and I found this little guy right here, AVRT9. Now this is a complete APRS package. Let me get it turned on. It has its own built-in battery, but it does APRS. It can be a they're picking up some packets right there. It can be a transmitter. It can be a iGate. It can be a digi repeater. It can do all of those things. Now, if you're using it for a APRS transmitter, it only has 2 watts, so just keep that in mind. I did not, or I don't plan on using it for a transmitter. I'm planning on testing it as an iGate, a mobile iGate in different locations. And this was about 150 bucks. So take it or leave it. But if you're wanting to get into APRS and have set up your own iGate, this is a very easy way, very inexpensive way, relatively, to do that. So I'll have more on this a little bit later once I. Oh, and it connects to Wi-Fi, so it takes your APRS packets and transmits them as an iGate through Wi-Fi. But I'll have more information on that coming up. That's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification so you get notified when I put up new videos. That's it for now. Thanks for watching. AF5DN.